And welcome back, John Croak, tip of the week from HomebuiltHELP. This week we're going to talk about powder coating. The steel parts on our experimental aircraft have to be protected from rust and corrosion. Basically, we have two options: painting the steel or having it powder coated. Let's take a look at these two choices. All aircraft have some parts that are made from steel. Here we have a landing gear made out of tubular steel. Here is an aluminum leg, however it is joined at the aircraft with a steel weldment. In this aircraft, the control stick, is made of steel. And in this aircraft, the cabin frame, seen here, is also made of steel. And these rudder pedals are also made of steel. And some of your metal parts are part of your control mechanisms for the aircraft and are hidden away out of sight. Here are all of the steel parts from a popular kit aircraft. There are quite a few. So, if we decide to use paint to protect these parts, what are the advantages or disadvantages of going this route? The biggest investment we will make with painting is our time. We need to properly prepare the surface of all steel using acetone and other cleaners made for this, and then we probably want to prime the steel, and some of you will use epoxy primers, and those need to be mixed and applied with a spray gun, and then a cover coat. For our tools and space requirements, we need an area for painting, and sometimes we even need to hang these metal parts so that we can spray them from all directions. And of course, we got to be careful if we don't have a booth to watch out for the overspray. And proper temperature is important. If it's less than 40-50 degrees in your garage, that is just too low to get the paint to properly set. The appearance and durability of the finish depends a lot on where the metal part is used. If it's hidden away in the aircraft, maybe we don't care. But if it's out in the open and receives a lot of abrasion from the elements, then we want it to look a bit nicer. So the bottom line is the quality of the finish depends on the effort and materials that you use. So how does this all contrast with using powder coating instead of painting? If you use a service to do your powder coating, then the investment in time on your part is virtually none. They will do the preparation and the coating. The finish you achieve with powder coating is clearly superior compared to painting when it comes to durability, such as against chipping and scratching, fading, and wear, and also the appearance. It is this finish that is the main reason people choose to have their metal parts powder coated. So, what is powder coating? It starts off as a powder that is electrostatically applied to your metal parts with a gun. This powder is then cured, typically in an oven, at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. At that temperature, the powder flows into a coating. You can even powder coat yourself at home with a kit. This one is from the Eastwood Company, and it provides the gun and the electrical charger that creates the electrostatic charge, and of course the powders can be obtained in all sorts of colors that can be sprayed. The greatest limitation to doing this at home is that you do need an oven large enough to contain your metal parts while they cure. And this is usually a problem for some of the larger parts that we use in our aircraft. We should also point out that it's very important that all steel parts be adequately sandblasted and cleaned thoroughly prior to the powder coating application. Instead of trying to do this at home, the more popular thing to do is to gather up all of your steel parts, put them in a box, and take them to your local powder coating service. Now, there is one task you need to perform prior to sending these parts off, and that is to mask off the areas that you don't want the powder coat to be attached. And this is typically things like threads and bearing surfaces, because the powder coating will itself be somewhat thick, and this can cause problems when we're talking about bearing surfaces. For about $5, you can get high temperature masking tape made for this purpose to mask off the areas that you don't want the powder coat to stick. If you choose not to mask off the areas, then you'll be able to still remove the powder coating after the fact, and boy, will you find out how nice this powder coating adheres to the metal. It's actually on there pretty tough. The easiest way to remove it is with a Scotch-Brite pad attached to a spinning die grinder with the high speed. Otherwise, you will find other methods just aren't up to the task because this stuff is on there really, really good. The two really important questions are, where do you find a powder coating service near you, and how much is it going to cost? The answer to the first is actually straightforward. Powder coating is an industrial service, so you're probably not going to find it in your local shopping mall. However, it is very popular and common, so you just need to find one. And here's how you do it. Head towards your computer and bring up Google and type in powder coating near and then your zip code. You'll get a wonderful list of all the businesses looking for your business. Some of them will be national type accounts and won't be physically located near you, but the majority of them will be somewhere near the zip code you entered. You want to pick up the phone, give them a call, explain to them about your project, how many pieces you have, how large they are, and you should be able to get a quote from them and any other instructions that are important, such as masking off the areas you don't want powder coated with the high temperature masking tape we talked about. It is through these phone conversations that you will find the shop that is best suited for you. One of the metal components of your home-built aircraft that we do not recommend powder coating is the engine mount. And that is because the powder coating does a wonderful job of hiding flaws and imperfections. In particular, any cracks that may develop at the welds may be hidden by powder coating. So it is actually better to paint these rather than have them powder coated. So in summary, remember that powder coating subjects your parts to a cure of 400 degrees Fahrenheit, so do not include any plastic, rubber, gaskets, etc., and disassemble any moving parts. You can powder coat anything that can take the 400 degrees Fahrenheit, including aluminum, but remember powder coating is quite a bit heavier than paint. Remember to mask any areas that you don't want the powder coating to adhere to. That might be threads or bearing areas. You can, of course, remove powder coating later with some degree of difficulty using a Scotch-Brite pad. And compared to painting, powder coating provides a thick, dense finish with high abrasion and corrosion resistance. You have a choice now when it comes to preparing your steel parts.
Now everyone, back to building.
If this video was useful, please let us know by clicking on a like.